break that project down into a few steps that can really be game changers for you. You know, big projects can seem a little overwhelming. I mean, you get an idea for something, you get a vision for something, maybe your pastor or your boss says, I want you to try this, and it can seem a little overwhelming, a little intimidating. The bigger the project, the more unfamiliar it is to you, the more intimidating it can be. And I want to help you break that project down into a few steps that can really be game changers for you. Maybe you want to launch a new social strategy, or you want to create a podcast or a blog or do something more on Facebook, or you want to create a new outreach. You want to do VBS different. You want to create a new family ministry. Maybe you want to launch a new product. Whatever it is, if you are feeling overwhelmed, let me give you a little bit of help. Start by building a team. Don't go at it yourself. Find some other like-minded people that get the vision, that have your heart, and that are on board with you, and build that team. You need a core team around you. And then you need to gather that team, and you need to develop some tasks. So if this is the goal that we want to get this done, how are we going to get it done? And let's break it down into manageable tasks. Once you have your team, once you have built a list of tasks, then what you want to do is you want to timeline it. So, okay, here's who we have. Here's what we want to get done. Now, when do we want to get it all done? What do we need to do? 4 months out, 3 months out, 2 months out, 1 month out. What do we need to do 1 week out? What do we need to do week of launch? What do we need to do follow up to launch? If you break things down into steps, that big project, that big task that seems ginormous, all of a sudden becomes much more manageable. But it starts with building a team. I'm telling you, you desperately need a team. Just ask people to join your team. You might think there's no one that'll join my team. There's no one that'll help me with this project. There's no one that will help me launch this new program. There are people, but they're going to need you to ask them. So find people to join your team, get a meeting together, list the tasks. What do we think needs to happen in order to get this done, whatever this is, and then begin to timeline it. Timeline it. What do we need to do? 4 months out, 3 months out, 2 months out, 1 month out. What do we need to do to really see this thing happen? And then the work doesn't stop when we've launched. What's our follow-up look like? What do we need to do to make sure we keep momentum? Okay, so team, tasks, timeline. Now, once you've got everybody doing their thing, you want to make sure that they close the loop. So you've assigned tasks, you have timelines, but then you need everyone closing the loop so that we all know what's going on. Now, closing the loop can happen in meetings, it can happen on phone calls, it can happen with something like the Marco Polo app where your team, you're talking to each other, but you need to close the loop. You need to know, especially as the leader, that things are getting done and that something got done. And don't just let everyone assume, well, we all know that it got done. No, you need to close the loop. So that big project, that big idea, that big dream, let me help you with it today. Build a team. Develop some tasks. Transfer those tasks onto a timeline. And then make sure that everybody is closing the loop. Listen, that big project, that big dream, that big idea, it's only a team, some tasks, and a timeline away. I believe you can do it.